because of my gym playing copyrighted music, I wasn't able to, do exactly what I intended by talking while explaining what I was doing to improve the flexibility of your squat. But hey, whatever, right? Welcome back to my channel, great people of the world. So you probably came here from the video that I made on Thursday, or you just had a problem with squat mobility. And in both cases, that's just fine. So today we're gonna really try to dissect the problem and figure out what we can do about it, right? Because, as always, the optimist that I am, there's something we can do about it. So I'm gonna keep this short, as you probably just want to know how to deal with it and not why it is important. But I just felt like I should share it anyway. When it comes to why we would want to improve our flexibility in our ankles and our hips, especially like on the adductor side, and on our shoulders, is to be able to firstly perform the squat correctly and to go deep. Because going deep means stretching the muscle longer. What does that mean? More muscle fibers being used, which means the potential for them getting this stimuli to grow. So it's easy as that. But gotta get my coffee. Woo! I am caffeinated AF today. Let's go. Anyway, I've had a good day today, I guess. Too gay. I have had a good day today, guys. And there's also partially the injury part. I mean, I mentioned briefly on Thursday, on how having a round back can be. There's some arguments on both sides in whether or not it is in fact so injurious, because we see strongmen that has a really round back lifting atlas stones, right? And I mean, sure, that sport is pretty injurious, but the evidence is kind of there that if you deadlift with a round back, for example, it's not a deadlift video, but anyway, if you deadlift with a round back for a long time and you work your way up, the injury is actually lower than first expected, right? So, but still, if you want to perform it with a flat back, you should have some amounts of hamstring flexibility. So now we move on to greater and bigger things. I'm just kidding. Anyway, the ankle part of this video has all to do with two things. That is mobility and flexibility. What is the difference? Well, according to where you get your definitions from, some say mobility is able to move like dynamically and flexibility is static. Now I don't really like that definition, so I kind of use it as mobility being in the joints and flexibility being your muscle tendons amount of capability of stretch, if that makes sense. So just as we are clear on the definitions, it doesn't matter what word, it doesn't matter if it's right or wrong, just as we agree. Now, when it comes to the mobility part of your ankle, I will show what I filmed in the gym, being the soleus muscle. Really, it's the machine that works the soleus, but you can use it to put on weight to really push down your ankles in a where your knee is at a 90-degree angle. Now, why is that the crown, the jewel? Because you can use stairs if you don't have any equipment, by the way. It's not that, but I have found little success in it, and I've found a lot of success in the sitting calf raise machine, right? It is at the bottom of the squat that you need your most mobility, like able to move your ankle, what we call dorsiflexion, right? So what you basically do, what I like to do is before any squat day, I go around and I really put some weight, let's say 30 kilos on. So it's something that's pretty heavy, but it's not painfully heavy. And I try to kind of flex my tibialis muscle and almost force the ankle to be in the most dorsiflexed position. And then I just sometimes I even pulsate and try to get it down as much as I can. Now here's the thing, right? You might be asking about pain, and the thing is, you should feel some comfortability, because it has a lot to do with your leg capsules and the binding tissues that are in the joint, but you shouldn't have sharp or really hard pain. I mean, theoretically you can break your foot if you go hard enough, though I never seen that. But just be a bit uncomfortable, try to get it like have a mini PRs all the way, and be patient, and I think you will have a lot of success on it. However, I must say, mobility work can be really unmotivating sometimes, because every time you come to work your mobility, it seems to have regressed from the last day, because mobility works like this. You do the work, right, and you actually gain some mobility short term, and you're like, fuck yeah, this is amazing, I'm gonna do this until I can rotate my ankle 180 degrees. Anyway, but it doesn't work like that, and you get stiff again, and you're like really fucking infuriating. And I've been doing this for 6 months, and still I'm like having residue from, you know, back in the days. You'll probably have to do this the next couple of months before you squat, to really like, before you can abandon the exercise. And that goes for everything mobility related in this video. It will take some time for you to really just kind of be at the point where you are mobile every time and you can just go straight into squatting. That is a long journey ahead, and if you stop squatting and you stop being physically active, you get stiff real quick again. So the body is a beautiful thing, am I right? No, but you know, just respect your mobility work and it's gonna be fine. You have to be patient, as with a lot of things in life. So why don't we care about our yes, coffee, our gastrocnemius muscle, and that ankle muscle that is on the outer portion, and that has to do with its origin, because it originates above the knee, so you don't really need that much mobility. I even fucked up my definition there, but you don't need to be very mobile at the top of the squat where your knee is extended, right? But it's when it's in the flexed position that you really need the mobility. So that is why we just care about, you know, either stretching the soleus, which is doing what I told you to do with the sitting calf raise machine, but just holding it for, like, warm up the muscle before you do this, and then you start to really have static stretching before you try to squat. So if you are feeling tightness in your muscles down in the squat area, that's probably the reason. If you are not feeling any type of like stretching feeling, but just your ankle stops, that's usually a sign that it is the joint and not the muscle. And then you have to do what I said with, you know, pulsating it. That's basically my advice that has worked on me when it comes to ankle mobility. And of course, you don't have to use a calf raise. You can use maybe some plates put on your knee and put your toes on something where you can kind of go a deep down into dorsiflexion. But usually, if you're watching this video, you would want to squat, right? And usually then you have to be in a place where you can squat, and that's usually the gym, unless you have a home gym, and then, you know, kudos to you. I must also say, I'm a former gamer that didn't move around a lot in my younger years. Squatting is by far the most difficult exercise to master, in my opinion. I used, I think, years to figure it out, like, completely, because I had no one like me telling you guys how to do this thing. So I had to basically, I tried asking physiotherapists, and they were like, I don't know, I just get a paycheck every month. No, I'm just kidding. But they didn't kind of get my problem, so I was kind of like infuriated, and I'm like, why can't I do this? And I had like issues on like every front, and that is the part where I'm talking about now, and that is the shoulder mobility. Not flexibility in my pecs, but the mobility. My shoulder joint, I couldn't get a lot of external rotation when my, you know, my upper arm when it's close to my sides. That is the part where I'm going to show you now. And as you will see on my B-roll footage, I am basically using the bar, because that's just more efficient. You can be fancy and do it in another way, but I found that, hey, if I'm going to learn how to squat, I might as well just try to get flexible by letting the squat force me. So I put on 135 pounds to 60 kilos so that the bar doesn't move. You can, by the way, if that is really heavy to you, you can put on 40 kilos. I'm not sure, that's around 90 pounds I think, and it should do the job as well. Just 45 pounds is a bit light, you know, or 20 kilos. So anyway, what you do is you just kind of try to get the bar back there and get it into the high bar position, and that's basically why I can't do the low bar, because I struggle with the high bar. Anyway, so you try to really, like, you know, challenge your body, and then you back off a bit, you know. You try to move it around a bit, and then you try again, because if I would just try to force it faster than my body wants to, you just get pain and it's horrible. So I just try to be patient with it and just try to ease my way into it, and I gain the temporary flexibility that I need. With that being said, I must warn you guys, it isn't exactly super comfortable even for me at my point. It isn't dangerous or anything. Like, I feel like my shoulders, like I have felt that I have squatted, you know, today because of the mobility work, but every time I do it, it gets easier, so, you know, that's a bonus. But I remember that after 3 sets of squats, the third sets, because I've gained the mobility for the first set, yeah, and the other set went fine as well. I just used the mobility I had gained temporarily, but at the third set, I was still pretty easy able to do what I needed to do, but my shoulder was like, yo, I want to be unmobile again. So I got this type of weird feeling, but it, you know, it's not pain, it's just weird. So don't think about it. Don't stress about it. At least you can not worry about hurting in the structures there, because the shoulder is originally a pretty mobile ball and socket joint, so it should it can handle that type of things pretty easily. And another thing to why we want a lot of shoulder flexibility and try to even get to hit this part is because when we're far out here, your wrist is really like radially flexed. This motion. Anyway, that gave me some discomfort in my wrist, so that's why I kind of try my best to have as mobile shoulders as I can. And another thing is actually, I had a period, guys. Not a period like the women do, but I had a period of time in the summer where I went to a gym that had a safety bar, and I thought, you know what? F this straight bar squats thing, because it just, why do I have to do that? Alright? Like, it just doesn't, my shoulders really would like to be not challenged at the moment. So I used the safety bar, and I swear to God, after two months of that, like, I felt like normal, but my muscle, my rotator cuff muscle, the infraspinatus, started really acting up. I tried to massage it out, coming back, and I hit the trigger point, and I kind of reduced it for the day and just came back, and I'm like, this is annoying. So I actually went to the physiotherapist, and he just struck me with a needle. Point being, he just said, you're too tight in your shoulders, so the or the rotator cuff muscles were trying to do a lot more work, and they just became angry. Basically, yeah, they became stressed and just, you know, spasmed. So it's not fun. So do your mobility in your shoulder, guys. It's super important. It will come to haunt you in your bench pressing as well if you're not careful. But I told you, didn't I, when it came to flexibility, because some people can have a bit of roundedness and incapableness of going back when their pec minor muscle is tight. So what you would want to do, I have B-roll footage of that as well, is that you stretch that out, you warm up your by basically elevating and training to the press. You're using the muscle in depression and protraction, but if you want to. And then you just do a 30 second to 1 minute like static stretch to really try to work on the flexibility of your pec, if that's the problem. Now, if it is a subscapularis muscle in your rotator cuff, you can do the thing with the stick that, you know, I think I saw an Athlete X like ages ago. But I mean, it really works. But for me, I don't feel anything. So I remember I was so furious when I tried to stretch my subscap, when my subscap wasn't a problem. Like, I still can't get my bar around my back. What's the deal, yo? So anyway, before I continue, I would like to ask you if you genuinely have found this advice helpful and you have enjoyed your time with me. I don't know. But yeah, it would mean the world to me if you like it, because that just helps me a lot as a content creator to get, you know, up there. Because I must say that it is more, you know, meaningful to me than you believe. So, you know, thank you a lot for doing that. Now, when it comes to flexibility in your adductor muscles and your hamstrings, it's the same deal with the 30 minutes, no, what the hell, 30 seconds to 1 minute stretch, but you can save some time here if you want, only if you want. You can use the squats to try to go down deep and really feel the adductor being stretched, because odds are, if you have a tighter ankle right now, you don't want to be squatting super narrow, right? You want to have at least a bit wider than your hips, but you know, you don't have to go all out sumo either, especially if targeting your quadriceps is the main goal. I don't know what I did with my pace there. So what you can do is, when you are standing a bit wider, your adductors, right, they get a bit challenged in their flexibility thing, but you can actually just go down and up and try to go that deeper, and basically using the bar to help push you down. I mean, if you're strong enough and you have 100 kilos on there, I mean, you will get down there. You know what I'm saying? You probably won't get up. Okay. But anyway, the bar can help push you down, and you can really just try to get the flexibility that you need, and that can be you know, that is basically a form of active stretching, but I mean, it works. And if not, you can just stay down without a bar and just stay a minute in that position to really work your adductors, because you need to be good. You know, if your goal is to be good at squatting, that's all you got to think about, is having the flexibility to get down in what we call the hole. You don't have to do a lot of, you know, fancy adductor stretches. You can, but you don't have to, right? And me, I'm like, if I can do less mobility work, or, you know, be more efficient, I'm all for it, because I'm not waking up and be like, I can't wait to do my mobility, right? That's not why I wake up in the morning. I want to exercise. I want to train strength, not flexibility. But it is important. But it's not my passion. Anyway, same with the hamstring. When you are doing your straight-legged deadlifts, which I hope you are doing, or even good mornings, but be careful, you know, with the more technique there, so you don't hurt yourself. As I said with the round back part, if you are trained for it, you shouldn't be hurting, but the injury happens when your body is not prepared to lift in a rounded back. So be careful with the good mornings, really. I'm not joking. You start with the bar and feel it out. Point is, you can go down until you feel until you really feel the stretch. It doesn't have to, it can be slightly painful, but pain shouldn't really be a good thing to chase, right? So if any of the things I recommend to you really, like, if it hurts like a female dog, don't try to force yourself, right? At least start slow. Don't I wouldn't encourage anyone to undergo a huge amount of pain, because pain usually signals that your body is like, chill out, bro. Anyway, so you go down further and further with your straight-legged deadlifts or good mornings. and you just put your pins a bit lower every time, or you just try to go down the millimeter by millimeter, and eventually after a long enough time you will have a lot more flexibility in your hamstrings, and that can help you to keep your back and all of that flat when you are deep in the hole, because if not, your ass will kind of just go you will have an anterior tilt. If you want to do a proper competition squat that looks like a squat with a flat back, you need to have these parts covered. So I hope that this video has been truly helpful, because I know that I would have loved to seen somebody really address this issue correctly myself. So, you know, if there's any like questions, you can even comment down below and I'll get to you. Like, I don't have many comments, so if you ask somebody, I'll most certainly answer. And other than that, if you want more tutorials on exercise and stuff, I have a playlist for you. If you want to check that out, thank you. And more is coming, so it's a good reason to subscribe, if and only if you actually want to. I'm out going to write anatomy exams. Oh, what? I'm gonna write the exam, but I'm going to prepare for the exam. So wish me luck. See ya.